Hi all, welcome to this potential Player of the Year objective or SBC for the Chinese Super League. Now last year I was really hopeful for this because I thought, oh great, new league, and I thought we'd maybe get this and it would have been a nice card in the form of Wu Lei, but obviously he did not happen, which was a bit of a bummer. But hopefully this year we potentially could get this, and there's some potential nice cards to look forward to as well if we do get a winner. So we can smash likes, would be awesome. Sub to the channel if you're new. Follow me on Twitter at @GIsALegend. All the links are down below for posting channel and social media links as always. And comment down below who you think might win the Player of the Year for the Chinese Super League. This is obviously the last one we're kind of focusing on just now that realistically could happen, because like the J League, K League, they've never really done them. Same for the Chinese Super League, they just don't seem to do them. And they would be fun cards to at least look forward to. At least anyway, that's my interpretation. From the Chinese Super League, the main card we're focusing on in the breakdown, like how you would get like when we've had like Scream Ozils, Scream Jekyll, Want to Watch Ndombele, is Paulinho. Now the reason why I'm focusing on Paulinho is because from a midfield view, he has scored 16 goals at the moment this season, well 17 goals this season, and 4 assists, which is a heck of a return from a midfielder. Now he's 84 as a base card, and what we have decided to do, just to juice him up, we have gave him generally +3 and +4 stats across the board. We've tried to put him in defending up just a little bit, same for the shooting, because they're the kind of main stats that have improved throughout the season. And like I would say, if you made him an 87 rated card, because that's what he would go, because he's 84, 86, 87, I would say a lot of folk would actually really want to do this card for the simple reason that he is Brazilian, he's already a good rating, and he has good base stats. If you're giving him, it's like how his Team of the Season card was a moments one, not a full like a proper Team of the Season card where it could be maybe like 91, 92 rated. This is the type of card that you would say to yourself, oh, I'd maybe want to do this card. And in terms of the objectives, if they were to do it from an objectives view, you might get Barcelona as a sneaky curveball objective. Might be like 10 players from not necessarily Barcelona but from La Liga, so you maybe score 10 goals or win 5 games or 4 games with like La Liga players, like a La Liga squad. Then from a Brazil view, could be the same, could be win 4 games or score 10 goals or 20 goals. Because he's also a midfielder, you might get given assist requirements, so you might have to do like 10 assists with like Brazil players or Chinese Super League. So, or you might get that as well. So you might have, they might just decide, oh, we'll do 10 assists with Brazil, but just to juice it up and make it a little bit more time consuming, you have to get 10 assists with Chinese Super League. In theory, you could then just use Paulinho, Talisca, Oscar, Renato Augusto, or Alex Teixeira, and then it suddenly makes it a little bit easier to work with, that you can get 2 in 1. But it depends how they may kind of implement the objectives. They may do it through squad battles, they may do it through rivals, they may do it through foot friendlies even. We get there in the end, almost like I was going to say fruit, but we'll get there in the end. But I would say Paulinho would be about a 6 to 8 objectives. You'd probably get about 1,000, anywhere from 600 to 1,000 x, like 600 to 1,200 XP. You'd maybe get half a dozen, like maybe say a pile of packs, some coins or some consumables. And I would honestly say Paulinho, if Paulinho was to suddenly drop in a couple of weeks' time, or whenever the Player of the Year is for the Chinese Super League, I'll try and get the exact dates when I find eventually through Chinese media. It takes a little bit of time, I've noticed, for some of the Player of the Years to be found. I would honestly say I would go all out and do Paulinho because it looks a fun little card, and like even if he wasn't enjoyable, like I know for myself, for a lot of the squads that I've suggested to people, Paulinho is sometimes one player I'd like to at least slot in midfield alongside like Allen and Fabinho, and I would say he could work. He's like, and he's fairly cheap and fairly fun to use for when I've used him anyway. Now Paulinho is just one potential card of the league that could happen. In terms of others that could happen, you may have Zahavi. This guy has ran absolutely a riot this season in the Chinese Super League, and I mean a riot. Like, Paulinho's got 16 goals for the season. Zahavi has 28 for the season, and the team is still fighting to stay up. How on earth is that physically? Like, that is scary. The guy's got 28 goals, and the team's got only about just over 40 goals, like 48 goals or something for the season. He's practically got like 2/3 of their goals in the season, yet they're still fighting to stay up. It just kind of shows that the rest of the team basically are like, this is like a one-man team. And just on that basis alone, you would say that he could easily sneak in as possible, like, say, Player of the Year card. And, like, you never know. If we do get this Chinese Super League this year, it would be awesome. It just gives us more content, really. That's kind of the reason why I've made this video. Like, I made it last year for this same reason, because we thought, Chinese League was finishing up. Thought, oh, great, we'll get Player of the Year. And, like, I would say, like, last year, like, Woolley, when that opportunity came about last year, would have been nice. And the same applies this year. Like, if it's Paulinho or Oscar, Talisca, less so maybe Talisca this year, but even Zahavi, like, any of them, whoever, like, was to actually win, like, Player of the Year in the Chinese Super League, as long as, like, the objectives aren't, like, say, too time consuming, but they're also kind of logical as well. I'd imagine it would be logical. It's just more a case of actually what would they kind of give us as a fair challenge. But you never know. It's just going to be, for me, I would say Paulinho, Zahavi seem the most likely. Like, Zahavi obviously gets hampered because while he is the considerable top goal scorer by like a country mile, and like in Zahavi's case, you would probably get, for, as we say, we've kind of discussed throughout all the Player of the Year objectives so far, like, if we were to get them, would be like CSL, Israel, maybe like scores, goals and assists with the league, and maybe less so the nation, because there's not really much of that nation to work with. But for me, like, Paulinho, if his card was the card that we were given, and I honestly mean it, if a 87 rated Paulinho was to suddenly drop in FIFA, I would say he's worth doing. He's easy enough, like, you would put Shadow on him. You could put Shadow on that card and he would have probably, like, what, 87 pace, and then suddenly that card becomes disgusting in midfield. He's got good shooting that you can easily play into a cam. You can keep him as a centre mid or a CDM because he'll have the good passing, the good dribbling, and very strong defensive attributes, and physical with the stamina. So he would definitely be quite an all-rounded card to work with. Obviously, it comes down to, of course, could we get the same kind of feeling again? Because last year I thought we were looking on course for it, and then obviously Woolley got transferred to Espanyol. Now, if that hadn't maybe happened, if that wasn't maybe on the cards, would we have still got this card? Or because even though this is a new league, they're not going to give us every league that we'd hope for. Because that's why I'm not going to jump on, like, the J League and the K League this year, because it seems like, are we actually going to get them? Like, I've mentioned them in previous years, but we just don't get them. So the Chinese Super League is one of these ones. It is just a potential, folks. If it was to happen, it would be a great card. I think it would probably be up there in terms of difficulty with, like, MLS, if MLS was to get the same kind of structure. But I would honestly say, for me, until the awards night happens, and then, or if we know for certain what the nominees are, then it helps us out a little bit. Because if Paulinho isn't nominated, then obviously this kind of just feels like, well, who on earth's winning it? Like, Zahavi, if he's nominated, then would make sense. But usually when we've kind of seen the awards anyway, it's kind of made sense who's won player of the year. And it's easy enough to keep up with anyway, once they kind of publish out eventually. But I would say, keep your eyes peeled for this, folks, if it was to happen. But let me know, folks, in the comments down below, who you would like if we do get a Player of the Year for the Chinese Super League. Would you like a Paulinho, Zahavi, or anyone else that I may have missed, like Renato Augusto or Oscar, for example? But for those that, would you even do the objectives as well, I should say as well, if the card was to suddenly drop within FIFA? or if it was an SBC, of course, because you never know. They may decide, oh, we'll change it up, we'll do it as an SBC rather than an objective, make it expensive to do. Like Paulinho would be quite expensive, so keep that in mind as well. So hopefully you find this useful. As I said, folks, we'll get a bit of rambling in the end, we get there in the end. But smash like as always, sub to the channel if you're new, follow me on Twitter at GSLegend, and I'll catch you all later.